It's time for this week's Parting Shots.
Thursday night may have been the most crowded sports docket in history, with the U.S. Open women's semifinals, the NBA's Western Conference semis, and the opening of the NFL season happening simultaneously. And while Patrick Mahomes, reigning Super Bowl MVP, may have owned center stage, no one on courts and fields has impressed me more in recent days than Naomi Osaka. While Osaka seeks her second U.S. Open and third Grand Slam title, her role as spokesperson on greater societal issues has been on display. Every match, she's worn a mask with the name of someone killed by police officers or a former officer. In a profile written by the Wall Street Journal, Osaka explained that shutdowns caused by COVID-19 presented her first time off from tennis since she was 3 years old. That left her free to go to Minneapolis to join the protests after George Floyd was killed. Osaka is the world's highest paid female athlete. Such standing typically leaves athletes compromised, unwilling to stand stridently against racism and, more specifically, racist, since race is byproducts too. But in this time, the 22-year-old has chosen to stand in her truth. Where she's doing this is important. The NFL and NBA have joined the players in pushing certain messages in 2020, and maintaining peace with their largely black labor force has certainly contributed to that. There is no such critical mass in tennis, making what Osaka is doing even more courageous. And there's added value in taking her message to the average tennis fan and Wall Street Journal reader, going past the simple statement that Black lives matter. For those who want a star who gets it, it is Osaka. We should all take a moment to celebrate her for sharing her platform with this cause.
Following her U.S. Open quarterfinals victory, Serena Williams opened up. At one point, she said, "I think I was pretty close to not being here." Serena turns 39 this month. Young in the grand scheme of life, yet a grizzled veteran in any sport. It's more than the 23 Grand Slams, one shy of Margaret Court's all-time mark, and 4 Olympic gold medals, making her whom many consider the greatest athlete ever. On courts from Compton to Melbourne, her quarter-century reign only intensified as she used her platform as a vehicle for societal awareness. She has poignantly spoken on gun violence, police brutality, and black maternal health care following her own near-fatal experience. With racket in tow, we run alongside Serena to her career's finish line. She's so active in other parts of her life, from her deep devotion to her family, philanthropy, and expanding business empire. And honestly, who can blame her for potentially looking forward? That's why every set feels heavier, why every rally holds us for emotional ransom, and why her semifinals loss Thursday night feels more haymaker than jab. She's committed to the French Open later this month, so that's where our focus shifts. But it begs the thought none of us want to acknowledge. Realistically, how many more of these opportunities sit on the table? Serena will soon move on to things that matter way more than our own athletic euphoria. But don't get it twisted. In a year where we've had to bid farewell to one iconic 24, this potential 24th Grand Slam means so much to so many. But none more than Serena Williams herself.
The first round of the NBA playoffs gave us an epic series between the Jazz and Nuggets, but we were too busy talking about LeBron's legacy to notice. The second round gave us the best 7-game series we could ever ask for between the Celtics and Raptors, but we were more consumed with the future of Giannis in Milwaukee next year. Now, as the college football season goes full swing and the NFL season gets underway, the question we're continually asking is, but how long will it last? 2020 has been a rough year for so many of us. What I can't wrap my head around is why we can't enjoy what we're finally getting while we're getting it. What could happen with COVID or social justice statements and how it will impact sports are obviously important conversations. But I find myself looking at the Sports Equinox that occurred this week, with more live sports happening at one time than most of us have ever seen in our lifetimes. And what hits me most is appreciation, or lack thereof. For all the hardships that 2020 has caused, it's more important than ever to treat every game you get to watch like it's a unicorn. Special. Maybe the last game you'll see. The what-ifs will have plenty of time to be discussed. But what's the point of obsessing over the future if we can't enjoy the present?
It's been 31 months since the shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. 17 people were killed, 3 members of the school staff and 14 students. Among the dead, 17-year-old Joaquin Oliver. Joaquin loved baseball. He was an avid fan of the Miami Marlins. To honor his memory and to spark change, Joaquin's parents, Manny and Patricia, came up with an idea. In this summer of empty baseball stadiums with the grandstands populated only by cardboard cutouts, the Olivers have decided to situate their son right in the thick of it. At 14 Major League stadiums, from Tampa to Seattle, from Los Angeles to Cincinnati, Joaquin is in attendance, watching and waiting for change. His parents are hoping that Joaquin's presence at these games will raise awareness of their mission to enact gun reform, to prevent mass shootings in schools and elsewhere. Like many families torn apart by mass shootings, the Olivers are unwilling to settle for thoughts and prayers. They want action. They want to make a difference. All those cutouts of Joaquin, it's an idea as simple and elegant as it is poignant. They brought their message to life, even as the Olivers know better than anyone else that the real Joaquin is gone forever.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.